What's up guys, Hayden here again from Alarm Systems Store, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial on the COSMOD module. Now this module is a combination carbon monoxide and smoke detector module. It allows you to use either 2-wire or 4-wire COSMO sensors, or you can use either 2W or 4W TAB smoke detectors. This module hooks up almost exactly like a 4-wire smoke with the addition of 2 wires for a CO zone. The wiring for the sensors is exactly the same regardless of what system you have it hooked to, so if you're just looking for wiring to the sensors, then check this out and we can help you with that. And then afterwards I'm going to be doing the programming on the Neo for setting up the smoke zone and CO zone and how to set your PGM so that you can reset this module and the sensors connected to it. So let's hop over to the table and I'll show you how to connect it to the module and we'll go from there. So here we are back at the Neo that we set up the other day. And I've moved the touch screen out of the way and I've unhooked the other sensors that we had on here. And today we're going to be hooking up the COSMOD module. Now, we got the HS2 LCD here. We have the COSMOD module. We have a combination CO and smoke detector, and we have a regular smoke detector. Now this is technically the 2-wire version of the COSMOD module. So this CO and this smoke are 2-wire. We're going to be doing the 4-wire here in a minute. But for now we're going to go to the panel and we're going to hook up the module. And this is how you hook up both the 2-wire and the 4-wire modules to the panel. And remember that we do recommend using FireWire for these applications. Anything that has to do with a fire alarm system, you want to use that FireWire. Today I'm just going to be using regular 22 gauge wire, but that is because we're just setting it up for instructional purposes. So for this module we do need resettable power, meaning we're going to use the aux plus terminal for our red wire. And we're going to hook the black wire to the PGM2. It has the highest output for the PGMs. And then for our first zone, I'm going to use zone 1 in the common. And then for our CO zone, we're just going to hook it to zone 2. And the common that they share. I don't know if I'll put that part in. Blah, 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 blah. Now that we have the wires hooked to the panel, we're going to start wiring the module itself. And remember to keep your power off. So for our red wire that we hook to the aux plus on the panel, that's going to go to the power in plus on the COSMOD. The black wire is going to go to the power in negative here. And our yellow and green, which we hooked to zone 1, are going to be our smoke zone wires. So we're going to hook those to the smoke IDC positive and the smoke IDC negative. We're going to take our 2 additional wires from zone 2, and those are going to be our CO zone. So it's going to go on the CO IDC positive and negative. And now that we have that done, we're going to hook our resistors into the module itself. So 2 of these 5.9K resistors are going to go on the EOL smoke and the EOL CO. So all you do is just stick them right in there, tighten them down, and this is going to set your resistance for the panel for your smokes and your CO zones. So you don't have to use any other resistors except for that 3.9 resistor that's going to go at the end of the line after we start wiring our smokes. So now that we have the module connected to the panel, what I'm going to do is show you the 2-wire version of the module. I'm going to show you how to connect a 2-wire COSMO sensor and a 2WTAB smoke detector. After that, we're going to move on to the 4-wire. So now we're going to hook up our Cosmo and smoke detector. This is the COSMOD 2-wire smoke detector 2W TAV. And this is our 2-wire COSMOD module. So the first thing we need to do is hook up the end of the line resistors to the module. So we're going to take our panel EOL resistors. On a Honeywell, it's a 2K. On a DSC, it's 5.6. And we're going to hook them into the EOL smoke and the CO EOL terminals here. That is going to tell our COSMOD what resistance to look for at the end of the line for the panel. Now we're going to wire our first 2 wires to the module. So since this is a 2-wire, just have a red and a black, power and negative, and we're going to hook them to these IDC positive and IDC negative terminals here. Alright, now that we have our first wire hooked to the module, we're going to go ahead and hook up the 2-wire COSMOD. So what we're going to do is get rid of these yellow and green wires and just use the red and black. Now, on the Cosmo there are 3 terminals. This is the 2-wire version. If it was the 4-wire, there would be 2 additional terminals here. You'll see that in a moment. But as we go around clockwise, the single one right here is the negative. Now there are 2 positives here. There's a positive in and a positive out as you go around clockwise. So we're going to take our power wire, the red from IDC positive, we're going to hook it to the power in on the Cosmo. Then we're going to hook our black, our negative, to the negative. Now we're going to hook up our 2W TAB. So we'll take the cover off of that. So we're going to take our 2 wires, red and black, and we are going to hook the black to the negative terminal and the positive red to the positive out terminal on the Cosmo. We are going to take our red and black to the 2W TAB, and again, as we go around clockwise, we have a positive in, a positive out, and a negative. So our negative is obviously going to be the black, and our positive is going to go to our positive in. Now that we have our smokes wired, we have to hook up the COSMOD EOL resistor. So on any COSMOD, it's going to come with one 3.9K resistor. It'll have these little terminals on the end. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook that to the positive out and the negative on the very last smoke in the line. So, as I said, going clockwise, our second positive is the positive out. So we'll hook this in. And then our negative is going to go on the negative terminal. And that is it for wiring 2-wire Cosmos. Alright, so now that we've powered back up the system, I fixed the clock, and what we're going to do is do the programming to activate this module and the sensors. So, first thing we need to do is we need to set our zone definitions. So we set zone 1 as the smoke. So we're going to hit *8 5555, get into our programming, and then scroll over to 001 zone definitions. Hit star, and then change zone 1 to a 008. If we scroll over to it, this is a standard fire definition. And zone 2 we set up as our CO zone. So we need to scroll all the way over, or you can type it in, but it's going to be a 041, a 24-hour CO. Hit star on that, and that is all the zone programming we need to do for the COSMOD. Now we have to do some PGM programming though. Make sure you don't back all the way out before you enter your PGM definition, because if it's set to the default, it will set off the alarm, and if you have a siren hooked up, it's going to be loud and obnoxious, and you don't want that happening. So go back to the main screen of programming with the red lock. Then we're going to scroll over to PGM definitions, which is 009. Hit star, and since we hooked this to PGM2, which has the highest output of the PGMs, we're going to go to PGM2 and we're going to set this to sensor reset 103. So we're going to hit star on that. It's going to go to PGM3 and we don't need to mess with those. So we're going to go ahead and back out. Now that we're at the main screen, we're going to hit star 72. And that's going to deactivate the output and it's going to re-energize the sensors. And what you're looking for is this top light. If the blink on the top one is going, then normal operation. If the blink is going on this one, then you've turned on the easy walk, which is what this button is. If it's on constantly, this is going to be a yellow light, then that means there's a wire fault. So you either have a short, or you have wires crossed, or resistor is in the wrong place. This module is very handy because it tells you what's going on with your system and with your setup. Now these other two are going to be for trouble conditions, and you can read them right here. The blink is sensitivity or freeze. If it's on, that means a smoke alarm is going off. The bottom one is blink equals CO trouble, and if it's on constantly, then it means the CO is an alarm. So that is how you wire a 2-wire COSMOD module. And now that we have it all hooked up, what we're going to look for is for normal operation flashing on the LEDs on your smoke detectors. So as you can see, might be a little bit hard in the camera, but this light's flashing once every 5 seconds, the green light. And on the regular smoke, the green light every 5 seconds is flashing once. That means both of these detectors are operating as normal. So now that we've hooked up the 2-wire version, I'm going to go ahead and install a 4-wire version and start hooking up 4-wire versions of the sensors as well. And then after this, we're going to get into the programming for the Neo. Okay, so now we have the 4-wire mod hooked up. And like I said, the 4-wire hooks up the exact same way as the 2-wire to the panel. Now, the wires to the sensors are going to be a little bit different because we're using 2 extra down the line. So the first thing we're going to do is hook our resistors up like we did prior to on the other module. You're going to do the same thing. And now we're going to hook up our wires to the module itself. So now we're going to be using 4-wire. So we're going to use our red and black for our power wires, which are going to go on these power out plus and the power out negative. So I'm just going to do red on the positive, black on the negative. And then we're going to be using our white and green or yellow and green, whatever you have, on the IDC positive and IDC negative. So now that we have that done, we're going to be wiring our first smoke. So again, these smokes, as you can see, this one has 5 terminals this time. And this is the Cosmo, the 4-wire Cosmo. So it's got the negative and the 2 positives like we had before, but it's also got 2 terminals over here. And these are for your zone inputs. So the green and yellow our green and white, are going to go in these two terminals, and the power is going to go in the exact same place as we did before. So our power, since black was on negative and red was on positive, we're going to put the black on our negative and our red on the positive in, which is always the first one clockwise. Once we have those tight, we're going to hook our other two wires to these other two terminals. And that is our first smoke wired. So now we're going to grab our wire that we're going to run for the second one. So for our next smoke, we're going to hook it to the first one. We're going to follow the same principle we've been using up till now. Red for positive, black for negative. But our red is going to go on our positive out. That is the second terminal, positive terminal clockwise. I'll stick that in there. Loosen up this terminal. Stick our black in there. And then our green and yellow, if you'd like to keep it simple, you can put the greens together and the yellows together, however you want to do it. And now we're going to run these wires to our next smoke. So on this one, we have 5 terminals again. You have 2 positives, a negative, and then 2 A's. The 2 A's are going to represent these 2 terminals on the Cosmo. This is a regular 4W TAB. We're going to put our red on our positive in, which is our first positive terminal clockwise. Our black on our negative. For our last 2 terminals, it's just going to be the green and yellow into the A's. Doesn't matter which one goes where. Now we got to figure out where to put this resistor. So for our 4-wire smokes, it is going to go on our zone wires. So it's going to go on the 2 A's. So now that we have those wired, we can plug in our smokes. And then power up the system. Alright, so I've powered up the system. I reset the date and time. Just a bunch of ones, obviously. And again, since I've already done the programming on the 2-wire, the programming is going to be exactly the same, but I'll run through it one more time. Star 8, 5555. And we're going to go to our zones. Zone definition, 001. And for zone 1, where we hooked up the smoke, we're going to make it a 008 standard fire. And then we're going to make zone 2, our CO zone, a 24-hour CO, 041. Back out of that, and then go to 009, which is going to be our PGM definitions. And since we wired it to PGM2, we're going to make PGM2 a 103 sensor reset. Star on that, back out. So now that we've gone through all that, the only thing left is to say goodbye. So please like and subscribe. It helps us grow our channel. Lets us put out more videos like this for you guys. We really enjoy doing these tutorial videos. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, video suggestions, whatever it may be, please put them down in the comments below. It really helps us figure out what you guys need from us so that we can better service you guys. So again, I'm Hayden from Alarm System Store, and I will catch you guys on the next one.